Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I hope I am audible. Great. First of all, thank you for giving this opportunity for revealing our latest product, SprintContractX, which is a SaaS CLM, a contract lifecycle management platform. I am Prateek, and with me I have Saurabh, who's the head of the product, and Rahul, who's also from the product. So, right at the outset, I would just want to address one thing, that all of our companies, all of the enterprises today, they run on contracts, not on codes, not on any other dashboard, but contract. Every relationship that we have with our vendors, with our employees, with our customers, right, it begins and ends with an agreement, right? Agreement defines compliance, transparency, and trust. However, this is not how we treat our contracts, at least most of the organizations. We treat them like static PDF documents, which you will find lying across inboxes, files, folders of an employee who could leave tomorrow. If that person leaves tomorrow, maybe we'll even keep track of the renewals, right? In most of the cases, legal has the responsibility of managing the contracts, right? However, we know that it is as much as part of different business units like sales, business, finance, right? As much as for legal, right? Therefore, all of this only comes to forefront, right? The contract management issues only come to the forefront whenever there's a misrenewal, there's a clause which nobody cared about, which later came to haunt the business and led to either business loss or reputation loss or both, right? While this risk is very widely spread and contingent across all the enterprises, BFSI is one industry where it's hardest. Why? Because we are bound by compliance. We are bound by regulators, right? And any miss clause or contract can lead to severe risk in the system. When we are working with our vendors, right, what happens? The vendor agreements decides what is the SLA, what is the turnaround time for any service. Any lending and credit contract with our borrower defines how I am going to recover my money, right? Every contract has clauses which talks about compliance, trust, infosec. What if any one of us missed out and it comes back to haunt, right? So all of these put together put a lot of emphasis on how we are managing end-to-end lifecycle management of our contracts. Now you might say, hey Prateek, there are all new systems which are being used by these industries, right? I agree, there are, right? But there are old legacy systems, right? You'll find them, first of all, highly legal focused. As I mentioned earlier, they should not be, right? They are mostly treating these legal documents, contract, as simple static PDFs, right? Maybe storing them, maybe not, thus increasing the risk. Most of the workflows are manual or sequential. People are still working over emails, right? They're trying to identify which is the final version and asking for clean copies every now and then. These are some of the risks I think we all must have seen, right? These are some of the issues that we might have faced, leading to protracted and very elongated agreement negotiation process that could lead to 2 to 3 months, right? While maybe in negotiation, a sale takes only 15 days to close, an agreement might take good 2 to 3 months, right? Thus causing revenue loss to both the sides. So what we did was, we went back to our roots, right? We identified the entire life cycle of how a contract works, and therefore migrated it to a complete living contract. What I mean by a living contract is that a contract is not just visible to a legal team. It is visible to sales. It is visible to finance. It is visible to operations. Sales is concerned about revenues, finance about risk, and operations about execution. They all should have very clear vision of how and when this contract impacts them, right? Thus, it becomes a cross-functional platform. All the processes, renewals, extracting of metadata, right, searching functions, all of them are automated. So you really need not worry about who is taking care of the renewal of the document or who's the responsible for updation of any clauses. And apart from that, predictive insights identify risks at the forefront when you are drafting the contract, not when it is signed. So therefore, I am really excited to introduce you our latest SaaS platform for CLM, SprintContractX, which is specifically meant for the BFSI industry. It is a platform built for scale, speed, and transparency, right? It turns every contract into a searchable and actionable business asset, not just another document lying in archive somewhere. Now, you might again ask, right, how it is, going to change the process, the way we deal with our contracts, right? So when we were ideating it, when we were at a drawing board, right, we did not think about that it is going to be another platform with a lot of features. In fact, we did not even think about the features, first of all. We thought about how teams deal with a contract today, right? How contract moves from one part to another, one business unit to another. And therefore, we built entire end-to-end life cycle, right from the point where a person, where a vendor, or anybody requests for a contract, when it is signed, to the part it is renewed, and to the part it is audited. Therefore, engaging the entire end-to-end life cycle, right? Again, as I said, business comes first, right? We've long enough treated contracts as a legal thing, which they are not. So it will have visibility across the different business units and teams. We all know that regulatory authorities have been, pushing us far in terms of compliance. Therefore, we also thought of compliance first when we were building this platform, so that the risks which are associated with a particular type of industry are highlighted first, right? We built more than 1,000 templates into this platform, which ensures almost each and every kind of document which comes for an enterprise can be pre-configured or pre-filled, right, as per the requirements of any enterprise. So you don't really need to worry about whether a document is lying in a folder or in an Excel or anybody else on your systems, right? It's all on the cloud, accessible very easily. We have a short demo planned for you post this, but I would still like to give you a quick walkthrough of how the data or how the entire life cycle flows through this. So first of all, any party with whom you have negotiated already, right, requests for a contract. We could also auto-fetch the information from ERP through our deep ERP integrations, right? The ERP is sent to the person through a SaaS platform. They receive a link for it. No more tracking over emails, right? If there are multiple teams involved, process happens in parallel, not sequentially. So no waiting for another 3 months for closing that contract, right? You could close it within the next 15 days, what you are taking 2 months right now, right? Obviously, it will auto-fetch all the clauses as per the vendor size, risk, geography, and so on and so forth, which are already pre-programmed in the platform, right? And as I said, approval flow, which is spread across different teams, happens parallelly, not sequentially, so you're closing contracts quicker. And finally, execution of the agreement also happens on the platform. You don't need to go out of this platform at all. And this is where most of the CLMs today, they stop, right, at the signing. That's it. You put the document in an archive and forget it. So you'll have to, follow it manually next time when it is up for renewal. But what we also do is, through our advanced AI features, which Rahul is going to talk about later, we auto-fetch metadata from the platform, from the contract, right? Which also enables to automate a lot of functions, including renewals, which nobody needs to track manually about. At this point, I'm going to invite Saurabh to take forward and talk more about the product. Thank you.
Hello. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Prateek, for the introduction. And Prateek, yaar, ek cheez kehni thi. There are so many veterans and industry experts over here. Meri to lag gayi hai. But you know what? Sometime back, one of the branch managers told me कि उसकी भी लगी हुई है. And the reason is very simple. He's not able to complete his monthly, forget monthly, quarterly targets as well. Why is that? Contract नहीं sign हुआ. क्यों नहीं हुआ? RM कब तक भागेगा multiple departments के पीछे कि contract sign करो, सब बोलेंगे यार time नहीं है. I'll do it later. That later becomes a week. The agreement closure process takes 3 to 4 months in that case. What happens to the bank? Account did not get open, deposits not coming, revenue impacted, targets impacted. So this was one of the statement was a problem which we identified. Another thing was, I get an agreement. Now I have a very common name. माँ बाप ने एक नाम दिया, सोच के दिया सौरभ. But मुझे agreement आते हैं SAURAV करके, SOURABH करके. So many spelling mistakes, lot of problem, unnecessary time waste. Then what happened was, another problem that came up is कि चलता हुआ product, very nice product, suddenly stopped. Why did it stop? Vendor told कि agreement खत्म हो गया है, and whosoever was there earlier was managing it, he was given a notification. Then we asked legal, what happened actually? He said, मैं तो 6 महीने पहले आया हूँ, मुझे क्या पता? Now, with all these problem statements that started coming to us, what I did was, I had a mentor, दिमाग की बत्ती जलाई, and started thinking of a solution that we can build up. So what we did was, we planted a seed in everyone's mind that we spoke. That there is something that is coming that will help you, sort all these different issues. कि इतना simple बनाएंगे. You can integrate them into your ERPs on onboarding solutions, track the agreements, do negotiation online, do the signing, keep a reminder, do renewals automatically. That is how we created this product. Of course, with everyone's effort, we were able to create a very simple, very easy UI, very simple to use, and a very cost-effective solution, which I would now request Rahul, who has actually worked on it, to give a small demo and understanding about it. So over to you, Rahul.
Thank you, Saurav. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. So I think whenever, like, as a product manager, I build any product, right? The first thing that comes to my mind, or to any product manager who's sitting here, is what I have to build and for whom I'm building, right? So before even when the ideation happened, right, I've talked to a lot of legal people who use contracts on daily basis. The sales team who basically proceed the contracts to the merchant or the vendors that they are onboarding, right? The business they are onboarding. So the very important thing that comes for any business, right? For the adoption of any new platform that comes into the picture. So that usually, like in terms of training to a sales team or to a legal team, it takes usually 2 months or 3 months. So that is one of the problems that we try to solve by making the platform like very intuitive for any new user, for any layman person to use from day one. Like there's no waiting for 2 months or 3 months training for people to train and then start with a platform. I can assure you, once like you start using, from the very first day you'll be able to use it, because that's how we have made it very clean in terms of the UX, right? Along with the process from your counterparty addition to your agreement signing, from execution to the signing of it, that is very straightforward and very simple. Like talking specifically about the products, I think again, when we are talking about how you could manage multiple teams, so that's how what we have added is very granular level permission on the platform, where any user, let's say if a legal team is using, what specific permission that they want on the platform, right? In terms of if the sales team is using, they don't want to see any other details, so they'll be having very granular permission in terms of the business that they have added for their prospective use cases and the control over agreements as well. When I talk about agreements, the most important thing that comes is the templates. So we have roughly around 100 plus templates that we have added in the system. Along with that, we give an option to customize your templates as per your business needs, right? And the same templates again could be reused for different agreements that you're initiating for your new vendors or new merchants. Even while sending to different merchants, right, one of the very use case that has come into the picture, where if there are multiple parties involved in one particular agreement, what you could do is, let's say one party needs to see certain details, but the second party don't have to see a certain details. So for that, we have added a redact option where you could hide certain details from one party and show the same details to other parties. This gives a complete control over the agreements that you're forwarding to different parties in one particular agreement and how they are basically negotiating on that. Along with that, everything that it's been done, it's on the in-house editor that we have built, from your commenting, from your track changes, to every action that has been performed in the platform, right? So obviously when it comes to agreements, the audit, the clauses that are very important. So you have made a complete exportable audit trail, which could be used for any audit and compliance purpose. Apart from that, we obviously, as I think Saurabh mentioned, right, we are catering to different versions of it. Obviously, different agreements have different versions. So you could maintain and keep a track of every version that's particularly used for one particular agreement, and you could track back to the previous version as well when like certain changes has been done. And obviously talking about AI, I think how could we stand behind when AI is being used everywhere? So we have also integrated AI in our platform, where obviously when there are multiple clauses, the different kind of business that you're on board to the system, based on AI, we are trained in such a way where your clauses could be identified based on the business that you're adding, and it could be completely automated in your agreement. So for that as well, like as I was mentioning, right, any salesperson like who doesn't understand agreement at all can also use this, because the AI is trained in such a way where it will suggest like which clause needs to be injected in which particular template and to forward to which particular different parties. Also, mentioning about sales, obviously, right, now, whenever we create an agreement, that's basically for any new business that you onboard. So we do have an integration with all this multiple CRM tools. Apart from that, if you have any in-house CRM tools, it's just a matter of weeks that you will be able to integrate with the system, and you will be ready to get started with that. Now I'll again pass it to Prateek in terms of moving forward.
Thanks, Rahul. Am I audible, guys? Yeah, great. So you might ask, right, PaySprint, we know it's a fintech, right? They've been pioneers in payments, in verification, maybe compliance, right? But why a SaaS platform for a contract lifecycle management, right? So there were 3 whys to it, and we thought this is the right time to do it. First, that obviously, we've been on a forefront of building SaaS platforms, even for payments, even for verification space, even for onboarding and compliance, right? So when we came across this obstacle, even in our business, we thought, why not build a solution for it, right? And that's how it started, actually. We first of all built our solution, and then we went to the market. The second is the solutions that you find today in the market, right? Either they are too expensive, so that they only cater to the top 1% of the enterprises, or too featureless to be able to use in detail, right? They don't cater to the complete life cycle management, right? And the third is the regulators push for digitization of almost everything pertaining to a regulated entity or even in BFSI industry, right? Which again, we are lagging there, right? So we thought that we have the right know-how, tech, and the right moment to build this platform today. And on the topic of bringing this to the MSMEs, to the mid-market customers, and obviously, BFSI and enterprise customers, we wanted to make it accessible to everyone, not just to a select few at the top. So therefore, we kept the pricing such that today you can start exploring and using it as and when it is required, right? So just any guesses, what could be the potential, pricing for this annually? Any guesses, ballpark? Maybe given that the competitors or current players charge in lakhs. Okay, so I'm going to reveal it now, and it's going to start just from $999 per month, devoid of any users, right? So you can onboard as many users at this pricing if you're an MSME, which costs as good as not more than 12,000 a year. Right? So this is what we wanted to bring, not just to the enterprise, but to the entire spectrum of industries, starting from MSMEs. I would like you to scan the QR code and probably show your interest in having a free demo of this platform. Right? We are also present at A003, A004, right at the entrance, and please go visit our team and ask for a demonstration of the platform. They'll be happy to do it. Right? And with this, I'm going to end my presentation. We will leave you with a small video of the platform. Thank you.
Fortune 500 company lost $2.3 million. Not to fraud, but to one missed renewal date. That's the real problem. And it's more common than you think. Legal, procurement, and sales work in silos. Contracts slow down, renewals slip, and risks grow. Over 80% of enterprises have automated contracts. They close deals 60% faster, without missing renewals. That's where SprintContractX comes in. A smarter way to manage contracts. SprintContractX manages contracts end-to-end, from creation to renewal, fully connected. One centralized repository. Total visibility across every contract. Auto approvals, templates, collaboration, renewals, everything runs faster and smarter. Built for banking, manufacturing, IT, and healthcare. Designed to scale with your business. Move from months to days. From scattered systems to full control. Don't lose millions to a missed date. Stay updated. Stay audit ready. Choose SprintContractX. Schedule your demo today. Only 1% of leaders get contract management right. The rest lose time, revenue, and control without even realizing it. A VP once sent the wrong contract version to a $2 million client. They didn't catch it until after signing. The result? 3 months of renegotiation, legal fees, and a relationship that never quite recovered. SprintContractX changes that. SprintContractX is an end-to-end contract lifecycle management platform that brings every contract into one central intelligent system, from creation to renewal. Legal, sales, finance, and procurement collaborate in real time, updating, commenting, and approving in one place. Everyone sees the latest version. Everyone understands what's changed. Raise contract requests with complete details. Draft faster using approved templates and clauses. Automate approvals based on value, risk, region, or contract type. And sign securely with built-in e-signatures. Every obligation, milestone, and renewal is tracked automatically with alerts sent to the right owners. The result? Faster contract cycles, reduced effort, total visibility, and stronger compliance. From banking and procurement to SaaS, legal, and healthcare, SprintContractX adapts to how your teams work. Stop managing contracts everywhere. Start managing them like the 1% do. SprintContractX. Get in touch with us or schedule a demo today